Have you ever noticed how, even in moments of comfort or achievement, a quiet restlessness lingers? How the satisfaction of success, the warmth of connection, or the relief of resolution is often shadowed by a subtle tension you cannot name? Why does your heart seem uneasy, even when life should feel good? Why, despite all efforts to secure stability, through possessions, accomplishments, relationships, or control over circumstances, does a sense of peace remain just out of reach? The Buddha taught that the struggle does not arise from life itself, nor from events, circumstances, or other people. The turbulence originates from the mind, from attachment, craving, resistance, and the way your thoughts interpret and color every moment. You grasp for permanence in an impermanent world. You cling to desires, identities, outcomes, and even fleeting emotions, believing that security and serenity reside there. Yet, the mind's habitual grasping only obscures the calm that is always present. The journey to peace is not about changing the world, controlling outcomes, or avoiding life's challenges. It begins within. The same mind that generates restlessness can also cultivate clarity, composure, and profound serenity. Understanding the roots of unrest, observing how your mind shapes experience, and learning to nurture awareness, compassion, and acceptance are the steps that open the door to enduring calm. The search for peace extends beyond personal struggles. It touches the turbulence of the world, shifting societies, sudden crises, and the uncertainty that threads through collective life, as well as the quiet rhythms of everyday moments. Buddha's teachings reveal how unrest arises and point to the path toward freedom, showing that inner peace is not a distant goal, but a living reality, accessible in every breath, in every moment. The roots of inner turmoil. People live in a world that never stops shifting. Political decisions ripple across continents. Economic highs and lows unsettle communities. Pandemics arrive without warning, and technology reshapes the way everyone works, communicates, and connects. Amid this constant flux, hearts often feel unsteady, even when life seems secure, successful, or comfortable on the surface. Achievements are celebrated, relationships nurtured, comforts sought. But beneath each triumph lingers a quiet restlessness, a subtle tension, a whisper that what is present is never quite enough. In Buddhist teaching, the source of this unrest is not the world itself, but the habitual ways the mind engages with it. Attachment, craving, resistance, and identification with fleeting thoughts and emotions weave an intricate web around consciousness, obscuring the calm that is always present. At the heart of this unrest is attachment. People cling to relationships, accomplishments, reputations, and possessions as if their security depended on holding them tightly. Pleasure is chased, discomfort resisted. Satisfaction fades quickly, replaced by a new longing. Another recognition, another success, another milestone. Even when a goal is reached, the mind drifts to the next, dragging a subtle tension in its wake. In a society that constantly compares, quiet anxiety creeps in. Envy, inadequacy, the tug of never enough. Buddha called this craving, tanha, the source of suffering. It ensures that peace never settles. The mind chases impermanent experiences, believing each will bring calm, unaware that the serenity it seeks is already within. Resistance to change runs just as deep. Life is never still. Circumstances shift, relationships evolve, fortunes rise and fall, and even the weather and climate follow rhythms beyond control. Health fluctuates, communities transform, political, social, and economic patterns twist unpredictably. Yet the mind tightens, instinctively trying to hold reality in a form it can recognize. A job that once offered purpose now gnaws at attention. A familiar street suddenly feels foreign. Headlines ripple through the mind, stirring a quiet tension. Even when nothing seems outwardly wrong, the chest tightens, subtle dread settles in, and a quiet, restless voice murmurs, "This isn't enough. This isn't right." Buddha taught that suffering arises when the mind resists impermanence. Seeing life's transience clearly is not cold detachment. It is allowing reality to flow, even amid uncertainty. This resistance penetrates the inner world. Thoughts, moods, and self-images become anchors of identity. Anxiety, pride, frustration, or loneliness begin to define the self, as if these fleeting states carry permanent weight. Moments of joy are misread as stability. Fleeting discomforts spiral into elaborate narratives of failure. On a larger scale, news of political unrest, economic instability, or environmental crises can ignite waves of fear, guilt, or helplessness. The mind interprets distant events as personal threats, rehearsing disasters repeatedly, long after the headlines pass. Thoughts and feelings rise and fade, appearing and disappearing like clouds across the mind. Yet the heart often clings to them, mistaking their passing weight for something permanent. Beneath the surface of this inner turbulence, calm is always present, only obscured by the mind's habitual grasping. The inner turmoil of modern life often springs from clinging to external validation. Social media, workplace politics, and cultural narratives tether the heart to shifting opinions. Likes, shares, recognition, they promise stability but deliver only uncertainty. Every trending debate, market fluctuation, or viral story can spark subtle anxiety, as if security depended on forces beyond reach. Even fleeting pleasures carry a quiet whisper. Will this last? What comes next? The mind's habit of chasing, clinging, and resisting turns delight into unrest. True stability, it seems, is never found in the world outside, but is blurred by the mind's own patterns of attachment. In daily life and across society, these patterns repeat endlessly. Parents fret over children. Employees obsess over evaluations. Citizens worry over politics. Communities strain under social and economic change. All stem from the same roots: attachment and resistance. People cling to what cannot be held, identify with the transient, and seek permanence in impermanent circumstances. Struggle arises not because life is harsh, but because the mind approaches it with untrained habits of grasping, rejecting, and defining. Even when the world seems calm or favorable, quiet turmoil simmers. Nights stretch longer than they should. Thoughts spiral in silent loops. Unease shadows fleeting moments of joy. Satisfaction is never fully still. Recognizing these patterns, the ways the mind clings, resists, and identifies, reveals the source. The unrest originates within. It is not the world that unsettles, but habitual engagement with it that blurs the ever-present calm beneath. How the mind shapes experience. Every event in life, whether intimate or vast, is first received through the mind. News of economic uncertainty, sudden policy shifts, community conflict, or global health crises may appear external, objective, and neutral. But human experience is never neutral. Every person filters the world through a lens shaped by habitual patterns of thought, attachment, and expectation. The mind interprets, judges, and colors each moment. Calm or chaos, suffering or serenity begins here, within consciousness itself. What happens outside is only the raw material. What the mind makes of it shapes reality. When the mind is untrained, habitual responses dominate. A sudden downturn in the stock market can trigger fear, despair, and imagined scarcity, even when one's own savings are modest. People read statistics and headlines as though each were a personal threat, spinning mental narratives of failure and loss. Reports of social unrest, environmental disasters, or political upheaval may ignite outrage, helplessness, or quiet dread. The events themselves are neither inherently harmful nor threatening. The disturbance arises entirely from the mind's tendency to cling to stability, resist uncertainty, and interpret everything through the lens of personal security and identity. Even in everyday life, this principle is unmistakable. A parent reads of violence or injustice and feels the pulse of fear for their children, stomach tightening with silent anticipation of disaster. A professional encounters bureaucratic upheaval or market volatility, and thoughts spiral. What if the job is lost? What if opportunities vanish? What if control slips? A disagreement with a partner can feel like betrayal, replayed in the mind over and over. In each case, the same external situation produces entirely different inner landscapes. One person is consumed by suffering. Another navigates the same reality with composure. The difference is the mind, the unseen architecture shaping perception. Subtle patterns of thought magnify this effect. Rumination over what should have happened, anticipation of possible threats, and comparison with others' experiences deepen habitual unrest. A single news story of global instability can echo in the mind for hours, days, or weeks, transforming a distant event into a personal indictment. Social media accelerates this process, bombarding the mind with fragmented information, each snippet triggering desire, aversion, or judgment. The mind reacts automatically, weaving a tapestry of tension, restlessness, and quiet unease. Thoughts, once fleeting, become anchors, tugging the heart into loops of worry and anticipation. Even the smallest, most private thoughts carry weight. Internal narratives about identity, success, morality, or safety quietly color every experience. A fleeting worry about climate change, an anxious projection of economic collapse, or frustration over social divisions can ripple through daily life, subtly altering reactions and decisions. Minor events, a text left unanswered, a colleague's curt remark, can be interpreted as confirmation of these larger fears. The mind spins its own story, and in doing so, layers turbulence upon turbulence. Clarity of mind transforms experience, but it is not a matter of willpower or denial. People with awareness notice these patterns as they arise, the sudden tightening in the chest, the mind rehearsing disaster, the creeping anxiety over what might happen. They observe, without judgment, how thoughts inflate small incidents into crises, how habitual clinging to stability amplifies distress. Global crises can be perceived with concern, empathy, and alertness rather than panic. Personal disappointments can be met with discernment instead of reactive frustration. The difference lies entirely in the mind's orientation. Habitual expectation also shapes perception. People anticipate negative outcomes, projecting fear into the future, then interpret events to confirm these anticipations. Minor events, an unreturned message, a missed email, are colored with imagined harm. Major events, political upheaval, natural disasters, are rehearsed in the mind as worst-case scenarios. Conversely, when the mind notices its own patterns, the same events can be experienced without unnecessary suffering. Headlines may stir attention but no longer grip the chest. Policy changes may be analyzed rather than feared. Disagreements may be seen as difference rather than personal attack. Reality itself does not change, but the inner experience of it does, entirely through the mind. Even the most subtle, private thoughts carry enormous weight. Internal stories of self, morality, or safety filter and interpret the external world continuously. Anxiety about climate or economic uncertainty, frustration over relationships or work, fear for loved ones, each becomes a lens, a prism that colors every moment. In these habitual patterns, suffering emerges, a shadow projected not by life itself, but by the mind's untrained habits. The mind, clinging to passing phenomena, treats them as permanent, pressing them into the heart like small stones that never quite settle. Ultimately, experience is shaped first and foremost by the mind. Suffering is rarely imposed from outside. It is constructed internally through patterns of attachment, aversion, and projection. Thoughts and feelings arise, ripple through consciousness, and pass. But the mind's habitual grasping magnifies them, making passing events feel like lasting crises. When these patterns are understood, when the habitual choreography of thought is visible, clarity and calm naturally emerge. Even amid uncertainty, even in the face of global upheaval, the mind's own architecture determines the weight of experience. Turbulence or serenity, unrest or quiet begins within. How to cultivate inner peace within. True peace is not found in possessions, achievements, or circumstances. You may spend your life searching for security in the external world, promotions, relationships, recognition, material comfort. Yet these anchors are impermanent, unpredictable, and fleeting. Long ago, it was understood that the mind is both the source of turbulence and the gateway to serenity. Unwholesome thoughts, attachment, and habitual reactions stir unrest, while clarity, mindfulness, ethical intention, and compassion allow calm to arise. Inner peace is not an abstract ideal. It is a living, breathing quality that can be cultivated moment by moment in both private life and the broader world. The practices that generate peace, awareness of patterns, mindfulness, ethical living, meditation, acceptance of impermanence, and letting go with compassion, interlock and reinforce one another, creating a stable foundation. From this foundation, the mind can respond with clarity instead of reacting with fear, aversion, or clinging. Through such engagement, serenity becomes accessible, practical, and resilient, even amidst the turbulence of life. Awareness of habitual patterns. Much of life unfolds through recurring, often invisible thought patterns. Imagine reading a news alert about a sudden crisis, a market collapse, or reports of social unrest. Your chest tightens, your stomach knots. Thoughts race, and dread rises before you even fully register the event. These reactions are not the events themselves. They emerge from the mind's tendencies, your craving for certainty, instinctive resistance to discomfort, and habit of projecting imagined futures. Awareness of these patterns lets you see the lens through which you interpret reality and choose how to respond. History and nature provide endless evidence of impermanence. Civilizations rise and fall, economies boom and bust, storms surge and subside, species flourish and fade. Crises are real, yet they are neither permanent nor entirely within your control. The key is not denial, but grounding your response in the understanding that all phenomena, personal, social, and natural, emerge, peak, and decline. Anchored in this perspective, fear and panic can be tempered, and clarity becomes possible even amid turbulence. Begin by noticing how your body and mind react. Tension in your shoulders while absorbing disturbing news, unease when imagining cascading consequences, or anxiety over what might be lost. Simply observing these reactions illuminates attachment, craving, and aversion without judgment. You see not only that these patterns exist, but also how they shape your perception, often amplifying fear beyond the facts. Even a brief pause, acknowledging, this is a reaction. This, too, is impermanent, loosens the habitual grip of the mind. These patterns rarely exist in isolation. Collective crises, political upheaval, environmental disaster, or social instability trigger waves of fear, blame, and judgment across communities. Awareness creates space to respond thoughtfully rather than react automatically. By observing your own anticipations and projections as events unfold, you can navigate them with composure and discernment rather than being swept into anxiety or despair. Awareness also reveals how your sense of self is constructed. Thoughts of inadequacy, imagined failure, or scarcity often anchor your mind in tension. You might replay worst-case scenarios, imagine societal collapse, or fear that current crises confirm a pattern of helplessness. Observing these narratives lets you step back, recognizing them as habitual patterns, not immutable truths. Cultivating awareness is an active engagement with life, a rehearsal for responding with clarity, resilience, and steadiness in a world defined by flux. By connecting your reactions to the broader currents of impermanence, you anchor yourself in reality without being consumed by it. Understanding that what rises will eventually fall and what falls will eventually rise offers perspective. Awareness becomes not a passive observation, but a living framework for navigating chaos, seeing crises as they are, acknowledging their impermanence, and choosing measured, skillful responses rather than being carried away by habitual fear. Ethical living as inner stability. Action, speech, and intention form the scaffolding of a resilient mind. Ethical living, 𝐸𝐴, is not imposed morality. It is the natural framework that allows clarity and composure to emerge amid uncertainty. Choices rooted in honesty, fairness, and compassion stabilize thought, easing the turbulence that arises when crises unfold, whether personal, social, or environmental. In contrast, actions driven by greed, malice, or deception intensify unrest, amplifying fear, regret, and agitation. Ethical conduct is not abstract. It operates as a compass in a world of continual flux. Civilizations that uphold integrity and fairness navigate upheaval with greater cohesion. Communities guided by empathy respond more skillfully to political, environmental, or economic crises, mitigating the chaos that unchecked fear or self-interest often amplifies. At the individual level, each decision grounded in clarity and ethical discernment reinforces inner stability, creating a mental equilibrium resilient to the storms of change. When your intention and action are coherent, fear, envy, and resentment lose their hold. Each conscious choice, each word spoken, each gesture enacted becomes a quiet affirmation of steadiness. Even as external circumstances fluctuate, markets collapse, governments shift, natural disasters strike, your mind, anchored in ethical clarity, remains grounded, able to respond with wisdom rather than reaction. Ethical living is inseparable from resilience. It does not prevent crises or suffering, but cultivates a reliable inner foundation. By aligning thought, speech, and action with enduring principles of fairness and compassion, you create a stable center from which to navigate impermanence itself, engaging the world fully without being consumed by it. Meditation and mental training. Meditation, samadhi, trains the mind to rest in stillness, observing thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without being swept away. Anxiety, desire, or frustration may arise in response to sudden upheavals, an economic collapse, natural disaster, or social unrest. But meditation reveals their transient nature. They arise, persist briefly, and dissolve. Recognizing this impermanence allows you to respond rather than react, cultivating resilience and clarity even amid uncertainty. A sudden crisis might trigger fear or panic. Without mental training, responses can amplify themselves, spiraling into judgment, blame, or paralysis. Meditation creates a space between stimulus and reaction, enabling observation without compulsion. In this space, you notice the grip of habitual thought patterns and can release them, choosing action aligned with discernment rather than habit. A mind trained in this way is not detached from reality. It is fully engaged, grounded in awareness, and capable of acting decisively without being overwhelmed. Through consistent practice, meditation sharpens discernment, strengthens composure, and reinforces the understanding that all conditions, personal or collective, are impermanent. Resting in this steadiness, you navigate chaos with measured awareness, transforming disruption into opportunity for deliberate, effective engagement. Acceptance of impermanence. Recognizing the transience of all phenomena, anicca, is central to enduring stability. Everything that rises will eventually fall, and everything that falls will eventually rise. Societies, economies, climates, and individual lives are in constant flux. Resisting this natural rhythm intensifies suffering and inner tension. Acceptance of impermanence allows you to remain steady even as crises unfold, providing composure amid turbulence. This understanding is profoundly practical. Observing that political upheavals, economic instabilities, or environmental disasters have come and gone across centuries situates the present moment within a vast continuum. Such perspective tempers alarm and panic, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react reflexively. Anchoring in this awareness frees your mind from the illusion of permanence, enabling choices to arise from clarity rather than fear. Acceptance is not resignation. It is alignment with reality, a deliberate, conscious orientation toward life as it is, rooted in the enduring truth of change. By embracing impermanence, you cultivate a steadiness that persists across individual and collective crises, a resilience grounded in the understanding that the tides of life will inevitably rise and fall, as they always have. Letting go and cultivating compassion. Clinging to fear, resentment, or judgment magnifies inner turbulence, keeping your mind trapped in reactive cycles. Letting go of these patterns creates space, mental and emotional, for clarity and composure to arise naturally. Compassion amplifies this liberation. Cultivating deep understanding and care for others transforms challenges into opportunities for constructive engagement rather than conflict. On a societal level, compassion manifests as measured, steady responses to crises, providing support to those affected, engaging in reasoned discourse, or taking strategic action, without being overwhelmed by fear, blame, or reactive judgment. Letting go and cultivating compassion are mutually reinforcing. One loosens the grip of agitation, the other extends stability outward, creating a foundation for resilience, constructive action, and enduring peace even amid chaos. The mind as sanctuary. These pillars, awareness of habitual patterns, ethical living, meditation, acceptance of impermanence, and letting go with compassion, interweave to form a foundation of clarity, resilience, and composure. In a world of inevitable crises, your mind is both the source of unrest and the sanctuary of stability, anchored in the understanding that everything rises and falls. You can meet turbulence without being consumed by fear, anticipation, or habitual reaction. The mind is never static, yet within its depths lies an enduring capacity for serenity. By cultivating awareness, observing mental patterns, acting with ethical clarity, training attention through meditation, embracing impermanence, and practicing compassionate release, steadiness arises naturally. Peace is not granted by external circumstances. It is a living, conscious quality, accessible moment by moment, even amid the most chaotic and unpredictable realities. If this wisdom resonates with you, please like this video and subscribe to join us on the path of conscious living.